Hello guys, welcome back to my class. In this lesson, we will discover four main types of predefined functions in the C++ environment, which are mathematic functions, character functions, string functions, and input functions. So, predefined function is basically a built-in function in the C++ environment that allows the user to reuse it repeatedly. You can just call the function anytime when you want to use it. But the precondition is you must know, where is this predefined function located at. For instance, if let's say you would like to use this power function, POW. This power function, it is actually located under this CMath library. So you just need to include this library name or this header file at the top of your program. For more information about this header file or library, so please refer back to my chapter 2 and chapter 3. So in the rest of these lessons, I will discover quite a number of these interesting predefined functions that commonly used in designing a system. Let's move on to our first predefined function type, which is a mathematical functions. So most of the math functions such as the trigonometry functions, cosine, tangents, power functions such as the power, square root, rounding functions such as the shield, flow are all located under this CMath header file. Meanwhile, just minor math functions such as the absolutes are located under this C++ standard library. So I will show how it works in the slide later. So here are the example of these predefined functions. So each function here we must provide the arguments. As you can see, all this square root, power, shield, right? And look at this column number 3. A function as example in C++, we have this bracket. All bracket here, you have to provide the parameters, the arguments, or the input value inside the brackets. So how do we know that what arguments that should we put, or what does it mean? You can refer to this. You may go to this Google. You can type CMath library. You can go to the first website, C++. So under this CMath, you will able to see all these predefined functions, cosine, tangents. For instance, now I want to use power. I just go to this power. So it will explain to you what are the parameters that you should insert inside your predefined functions and what is the format. Here is the format. In this power, you have to provide two parameters. First one is the base, second one is the exponents. Alright, and here we do provide you some example on how to actually use all these predefined functions. Alright, so I will show you here. For instance, you would like to calculate the power of 2. Base to exponent 4. Power of 4 for this value 2. So this is how it looks like. We should include this library header file. Next, we have to use this power. Remember, there are two arguments, parameters. The first one is the base, second one is the exponent. So here is the base, which is 2.0, then power of 4. So when we run it, it will show us 16. Same to the square root. We want to calculate the square root of this value 16. Alright, first you have to include the header file. Second, you just include this square root predefined functions. Inside this predefined function, you have to provide the correct parameter value 16. So it will give you 4. Alright, so again, how to know what are the parameters or what is the parameter that we should insert to these predefined functions, you can just refer back to this here. Alright, so you can look at this square root, just click inside, so it will show you what is the correct parameter. This is the x. Value whose square root is computed. If the argument is negative, then errors occurs. Alright, so in these predefined functions, the most important thing is you must know what is the header file, what is the suitable header file that you should include, and what are the arguments or parameters that you should insert into the predefined functions. Okay, so I have shown you what is the square root, how to use the square root and the power. So now I will move on what is the ceiling and floor. This ceiling and floor are basically a predefined function to round up a number. So what is ceil? So ceil is basically round up. Okay, means floor, meanwhile floor is round down. Okay, ceil is round up, means it's going to the right hand side. Floor down is move toward to the left hand side. Okay, for instance, before you solve this problem, make sure that you know what is the numbering system. This is the numbering system. Okay, come up with a numbering system first from the negative value until 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the increasing order, ascending order. Okay, so we look at the ceil first. Okay, negative 1.8. Where is the location for negative 1.8? So it's basically between this negative 1 and negative 2. So ceil, C-E-I-L, right? Ceil is ceiling. Round up, move to the right hand side. Okay, you round up to the next nearest integer value. So therefore, you will get negative 1. Alright, so meanwhile floor is round down. You're moving toward left hand side in the numbering system. So for instance, you have a floor 3.7. Okay, 3.7 is located between 3 and 4. So since you are going to use this floor, it's going to round down, move toward left hand side. So what is the nearest integer value? So it should be value 3. Round down is move toward left hand side. Meanwhile ceiling is round up, move toward right hand side. So meanwhile, if we look at this C++ coding here, so this is how we use it. Again, as a user, you have to include the header file. Secondly, you have to put this ceil predefined functions and the argument parameters. If I run it, so I will get 3 because 2.5 is located between 2 and 3. Since I ceiling is round up, move toward right hand side. So it will round to the nearest integer, which is 3. Okay, so we have another predefined function here, which is the absolute. Okay, absolute is basically to remove the negative sign. Remove the negative sign for a negative value. Okay, for instance, you have a negative 7. If you absolute negative 7, you will get value of 7. Okay, and this absolute ABS is located under this C++ standard library and also CMath header files library. Okay, meanwhile this we have another type of absolute to absolute a real number, which is a decimal number. For instance, you have this negative 7.5. If you use FABS, okay, float absolute negative 7.5, it will show you 7.5. Okay, so here is the example. Again, you can you have to include this header file. Okay, then you ABS absolute value of negative 3. I run it. It will show you a value of 3. Okay. Okay, here are some exercise for you. What is the output for each of the follows? The first questions, ABS negative 6. So it will remove the negative sign for you. So you will get value of 6. Ceil 2.1. Okay, ceil is round up, meaning that moving towards right hand side. So this 2.1 is located between 2 and 3. So since you are going to move to the right hand side, so you will get the value of 3. Right. So meanwhile for question 7, floor negative 2.5. Floor is moved toward the left hand side. So this negative 2.5 is located between -3 and -2. Okay, since you are going to move toward the left hand side, so you will get -3. Okay, so complete these questions and answer in the comment box below. Okay, look at the second question. Convert the following mathematical expression to the C++ arithmetic expressions. The first one, you have square root x plus y. So the square roots in the C++ syntax will be sqrt, square root. Then you have the bracket, what is your argument? This x plus y will be your argument, your parameters. Meanwhile B, this is absolute signs. So you should use ABS, right? ABS bracket x minus y. This is your parameters. Meanwhile, question C, you have more than three operators here. Okay, you have a square root, a squares, and then plus. Alright, so you have to solve the equation inside the square root first. You have to bracket x power of 2 plus power y power of 2. Then only you square root. Put another bracket, square root of this equation, this input. This is going to be your parameters. Power x squared plus y squared will be your parameters. Okay. So now we move on to these random functions. The purpose of this random function is to generate a random number. So this is quite important functions, as most of the system that we are required to generate some random number for certain applications, such as a lucky number in some games, or for verification purpose, like you have forgotten the password for the login account, right? Then you may request to generate some random code to your email to verify your account. Alright, so we have two random functions here. We have this srand, R-A-N-D, and srand. Alright, both random functions here located under C++ standard library header files. Okay, now we move on to the first random function first. So it's basically to generate a random function, as you shown in the example here, coding here. You have to include the C standard library, C++ standard library. So for instance, random. So I want to create a 5 random number. So I just repeat using the same rand bracket. So I run it. So it will show me 5 different value. Okay, in most of the applications that we are required to generate a random function between two discrete value here. Okay, so in order to create this random function between these two discrete value, we have to use the formula here. Okay, random bracket modulus maximum plus 1 minus minimum, then your plus this minimum. For instance, you would like to create this random number between 0 to 50. Identify what is your minimum value, what is your maximum value. In this case, your minimum value will be 0 and maximum value will be 50. So you just replace this 0 and 50 into your equations. So this 50 will be a maximum, just replace it, plus 1 minus minimum, your minimum will be 0, nothing. Okay, plus 0. So finally you will get these equations. Okay, so these equations is going to help you to generate a value between 0 to 50. Okay, so we have another example here. Generate a number between 1 to 10. So remember what is the equations? Yeah, here. Just replace the minimum value and the maximum value. And finally, you will get this equation. Okay, this equation is going to help you to generate a number between 1 to 10. Okay, for instance, yeah, I would like to generate a 3 random number between this between this 1 and 10. So I just replace this equation, random bracket modulus 10 plus 1. I just put inside here. Okay, I would like to generate 3 random number between this range. So I run it. Yeah. So I will get this 3 random number. So it is quite useful when you would like to generate this random number in some certain applications like gaming, or to generate some verification code and so on. Alright, Alright, so in the previous case, we generate a formula or equation to generate a random number given a minimum and a maximum value. So now I will show you how to identify the range, which is the minimum and the maximum value given a random number equations. In other words, in this expression, random bracket modulus 11, okay, so based on this equation, can you help me to find out what is the range? Okay, from which value to which value? Okay, so when you are giving this equation, remember you have to compare with the standard equation, which is random bracket modulus maximum 1 and so on, right? Okay, just compare these two values. You have 11, compare with this equation, maximum plus 1 minus minimum. Then compare another one, is minimum is equal to nothing, which is 0. So comment with these equations. Okay, you have two equations, minimum equal to 0, so you just replace this minimum equal to 0 into the first equations. So finally you will get maximum 10. So from here we can say that this equation is going to help us to generate a number between 0 and 10. Okay, so how about the B? Random modulus 11 plus 1 and 50 minus 5. Okay, so try it yourself and put the answer in the comment box below. Okay, so from the previous example, you may find out that if you keep repeating to run the code, you will just you will generate the same random value for you. For instance, okay, I run it. So you will generate 4, 7, 8. So if I rerun again, you will show me 4, 7, 8 again, same random number. Okay, this is due to the seed number that fit into the random function is fixed. So whenever we run the program, you will just create the same random number for us. So in order to create different number whenever we run the program, okay, we have to use different seed number every time we generate the random number. Okay, in order to generate a random value each time we run the program, we have to include another functions, so-called srand. Okay, so you have to place this function together with time. Okay, you have to place this srand together with the time functions before the random functions. This time functions here is to return the current time in seconds, and we will use this time in this seconds as our seed number. Since the time is keep running now every second, so the seed number will be different too for every second, every moment. Okay, since there is non-fixed seed number has been provided into this as random functions, therefore a random but non-repetitive number will be generated each time we run the program. Okay, so I will show you the example here. Okay, can you see? I've added this srand and the time functions before the random functions. So now I will run the program. It will show me 7, 10 and 4. So now I rerun the program. Remember 7, 10 and 4, right? It will show me 9, 8, 4. Each time I click run, it will generate different random number for me. Okay, because I provide the different seed number into these random functions. In the previous case, I didn't provide this seed number for this random function, therefore you will keep repeating the same random function for me. Okay, so remember, whenever you want to create the random function, you have to insert this another two functions, srand and also time. Okay, so in order to add this predefined function, remember you have to include this header file, include ctime. Okay, because this time is located under ctime header file. Okay, now I'll move on to the character functions. In the previous chapter 2 and 3, we have learned about the char data type. Okay, where user can insert only a single char into this variable. Now I'm going to show you some interesting built-in C++ function for this char data type. Okay, so in order to call these predefined functions that dealing with this char, you have to include this CC type header file. Okay, and here are some common char functions, such as the is alpha, is digit, is alphanumeric, is space. So this alpha is alphabet. Alphabet is equal to letter A, B, C, D, E until Z. Digit is a value, okay, 0 to 9. Alphanumeric is include alphabet and number. Okay, it can be ABC, can be 0, 1, 2, 3. Is space, okay, whether it is a white space. Okay, so we have is lower, is upper to lower. Okay, is lower is upper is to check whether the char that insert by the value, is it a lowercase, is it the uppercase. Okay, we have to upper to lower is to convert the char from the lowercase to uppercase and from uppercase to lowercase. So look at the first few function first to check whether it's a alphabet, whether it's a digit, alpha, number, and the space. Okay, so we have this program. Okay, to check whether this char here that I insert by the user, is it alpha, is it a digit, is it a number. So I run it. So enter 4 letters. So I would like to enter these 4 numbers, 9PJ6, 9PJ6. So I click enter. So it will show me the first letter is not alphabet, so it's going to check is alpha, is it alphabet. Okay, the value, the letter that I insert is 9, is a digit, right? So is alpha A equal to 0? 0 means false. Is it? If equal to false, then yes, not alphabet. Okay, so now I would like to check whether my second letter is a digit. So but however I key in P, so it's not a digit, therefore it will show me not a digit. Yeah, this is not a digit. So the third letter, is it a lowercase? Yes, I put a small letter J, so it show me it's a lowercase. Remember the last one is it an uppercase, but I key in a value 6, therefore it will show me it is not an uppercase. This 4 function here is basically to check, is it a alphabet, is it a value, is it a alphanumeric, or is it a space. If it is match, if it is an alphabet, it will return non-zero value, which means true. If return 0, for instance here, if return 0 means that false. Okay, means that the value, the char that you insert is not lower, therefore it will give you a value of 0, means that it's false. Okay, meanwhile for the next function is lower, is upper, also I used to check whether it's a lowercase or whether it's a uppercase. Alright, so we move on to this function 7 and 8 to convert from the lowercase to uppercase and from the uppercase to lowercase. Alright, for instance here, okay, I have a program to help us to convert. So I run the program. I key in a small case of P, big letter of J. So look at the first coding here. Is lower? Okay, it's not equal to 0, means is it a lowercase? Yes, it is lowercase because I key in small p. So if it is a lowercase, then please help me to convert to upper. I use to upper to convert this lowercase to the uppercase. So click it. Alright, so it will help me to convert to the uppercase. Meanwhile for the second one, okay, I put a big J. Yes, it is a uppercase, so it will go into this program to convert to the lowercase. Okay, so J is a big case, a big letter, so it will convert to the small j. Okay, so for this function 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just to check whether it's upper, lower digit, alphabet. Meanwhile, for the function 7 and 8 is basically to convert from the lowercase to uppercase and uppercase to lowercase. Okay, let's move on to the third function type, which is the string class. In lesson 2, we have learned how to write a string using both string class and also C string. So now I'm going to show you what kind of the predefined functions that are available in both string class. Okay, so let's refresh how to declare a string first. Okay, so first thing first, you have to declare a string header file, right? So then next, you have to declare a variable that's storing this string using a string data type. Okay, so there are two ways. First one, put double quote, this is your content. The second one, without this equal operators, you just put bracket and then your content. Both will produce the same outputs. So you may refer back to the chapter 2 to refresh how to declare a string, how to write a string. Okay, so in this lessons, I will just show you the predefined function available in this string class header file. Okay, there are 11 most commonly used ones, so I'm going to show you one by one now. The first one is going to find the string length. Okay, for instance, you would like to have this string spider main. Okay, spider main. You would like to find out how many letters in this string. So we have to use this keyword size. We run it. It will show you there are 9 letters. Okay, there are 9 letters in this Spider-Man, or else you can just use length. Both will produce the same result. Okay, 9. Alright. Meanwhile, we have a second one to find empty string using the keyword empty. So normally we use this empty for validation purpose. Okay, for instance, you have some registration form or what. Okay, this somehow this due to this mistake, the user may overlook and didn't include their name. Just put enter, so we just say invalid. So this empty function is specifically to check whether the string that insert by the user is empty or not. If empty, then true. It will show you non-zero value. If false, it will show you 0. Alright. So also you can compare the string also for this validation purpose. Okay. So for instance, alright, you have this ask the user to key in their username, their password. Alright. So the predefined username, for instance, is Oppa. Okay, so I run it. So I changed. Somehow I forgot my username. I put Kiki Lala. Okay, I put enter. It will show me invalid. Please enter a correct username. Okay, also for validation purpose. Alright. So we have the fourth functions just to copy a string, just like how you declare a variable. You are storing this number into a variable. So same, you can store a string into a variable. Name 1 Ahmad store into A, and name 2 may store into the B. We have concatenate string also, where you can join two strings together using these additions operators. Okay, ABC plus string 2 DEF, will show you ABC DEF. Alright, so we have next functions to find the position, to find what is the position for a certain character. For instance, we like to find what is the character for at the index number of 3. Okay, remember this index number is not positions. Index number 0, okay, we have the location of 1. Okay, index number of 1, we have location of 2. Always remember this. By default, the index number is always start from the 0, where they have a location of 1. First positions we have index 0, second position we have index 1, okay, third position we have index 2. Alright, so show you. Alright, we have a string David. Okay, so help me to find what is the character that located at this index 3. Index 3, which is position number 4. So I run it. It will show me I. Okay, so else you can also find the position of a word, of a character, of a string using this keyword find. So I would like to find the position that start from this vacuum. So I just run it using the keyword find. So it will show me the position start with this B will be in the index 6. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Start from this index number 6. Okay. So let's say you have more than 2 Wong, for instance. I put vacuum, vacuum. It will just show me the position for the first vacuum, although you have 2 vacuum here. So it will show you the position for the first word only. Okay, first word only. Alright, in some situations, you would like to insert some string into the middle positions of another string. For instance, add the title into a string. For instance, Mr., Doctor, okay, Professor. Okay, you can do it. So using this insert keyword. So there are 2 arguments in this function. The first one is the positions, where you would like to add this string into another string. The positions, position number 8. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at this location here. Alright. So the second argument is the string that you would like to add. Mr. Mr. means that you would like to add this Mr. in between here, in between Michael and Wong. Yes, provide these 2 arguments. So it will just push this Wong Ming Heng behind and insert this Mr. in between. Alright. So we have another function here to replace your unwanted string. Okay, in these functions there are 3 arguments. Okay, first is the start positions. Okay, the second one will be the number of char that you would like to remove. And the third argument is the string that you are going to replace the unwanted string. Okay, for instance 8. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, start from these positions. We have 4 unwanted character here. So WONG will be replaced by this TANG. Okay, will replace by this TANG. Okay, so just now you have learned about how to insert a string in between, right? In between using insert. So now here is another function to add a string, but just append, add from behind at the end of the string using append keyword. Alright, so you can either using add char or add string. Okay, you can just add a char or a string here. And just now you have learned about how to insert a string in between 2 strings using insert keyword. Now here is another example or another function to add a string or to append a string at the end of the string. Okay, you have to use this append keyword. You add at the end of another string. Just now is we add in between. Okay, there are 2 different types of this append. So you can either add only a character or you can add a string. Okay, in characters you have to indicate how many number of duplications and your desired character. For instance, I would like to insert 2 exclamation marks at the end of this name. So I just indicate what how many times I would like to add duplications. 2 times. So it will show me Michael Wong Ming Heng and then exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Or else you can just include the string at the end of this Wong Ming Heng. without indicating the duplications. If you add these duplications here, it will show you the errors. Okay, so it will show you this doctor, okay, Michael Wong Mei Hing, bracket doctor. You can either insert a character or insert a string. Okay, the last function in string class is to remove unwanted char from a string using this erase keyword. Okay, so in this erase keyword here, you have two arguments, your starting positions, index value, this is your index value, and number of character that you would like to remove. So in this case, you would like to remove the G in this Hing, which is the last position. So first thing first, you have to identify the index value for the last positions. So you can use this size that you have learned just now to identify there are how many characters in this sentence first. Alright, so you identify there are 22 characters, letters in this string. Next, you have to identify the index number for this G. So remember, the index value is equivalent to the position minus 1 or the size minus 1. Okay, index value equal to positions, or we can call it as a size or length minus 1. So the index value for this G will be 21. So therefore, you use this erase keyword as 1 dot size minus 1, two parameters, right? This is the first parameters and second parameters. So which means that at this index number 21, remove one char for me. So finally, you will get this Michael Wong Mei Hing without the G. Move on to our last predefined function type, which is the C-string functions. So bear in mind, the function inside this C-string class is not applicable to the string class functions. String and C-string both are different classes. Okay, please refer back to chapter 2 to understand what are the difference between them first. Okay, so in these C-string functions, you have to include the C++ standard library header files. Also, the first function that I would like to introduce you is the conversion function, conversions. Okay, so ATOF, ATOF means that you are going to convert the numeric string 1.2345 to double. Alright, assume that this 1.2345 is a string first. You are going to convert this string into a value, into a double. ATOI is going to convert the numeric string number, string 123 to integer, to a number. ATOL is convert a numeric string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to a long integer. So this three conversion function is basically to convert a string into an integer. You may ask, why do we need these conversions? So look at this demo here. Okay, so for instance, we have this string. Okay, we have char p string. Okay, this is actually a string. It's not a value. This 32.77 here is actually a string because you are going to use the char. Okay, this is a string. So 32.77. So now you would like to multiply this 62 with this 32.77. Okay, bear in mind this is how to say integer. You would like to multiply with the string. It is impossible. So in order to make this happen, you have to convert this string into an integer first, or double or floating first, or long integer, using these conversion functions. Alright, so if I run it, it will show me the error because you can't multiply a string with a value. So how to improve it? You have to add this function ATOF. This is 32.77, right? So you have to convert this string back to the floating point first. So you have integer multiplied by a floating number, you will get a floating number based on these implicit conversions in chapter 2. Okay, so this is the purpose. You can't multiply a string with a number. So in order to perform that, you have to convert first this string back to an integer or floating. Alright, so we have a manipulation functions such as to copy a string 1 to another string, or to concatenate a string into another string. Okay, firstly, you have to include this C string header file first. Okay, if you look at the first function, it's just a copy. You just copy the string 2 to string 1. Okay, for instance, you have string 1 is empty one. Meanwhile, you have string 2, yes, yes. So you will like to, okay, when you introduce this strcpy, so it's basically just to copy y into this first location, second location, into second location, and third location here. So you have this yes. Alright, so meanwhile for the second function here is to copy, okay, to copy just a few first char from one string to another. For instance, you have s1 as user empty string. The s2 you have this yes. So let's say I indicate s1 comma s2 comma 2 means that I just want to copy the first two char into the string 1. So it will just produce me ye. Okay, just copy one string to another string. So we have more example here. Okay, s1 is empty, s2 is nasi lemak. So finally, you just copy s2 into s1. So nasi lemak. So second example will this goreng. Since this size of this goreng is more than this mee, so it will just totally replace the mee. Okay, the third one is empty, so just copy the first three char. So you have this tom. And the last one, you copy these first two char into the first string, you will get this the C. Okay, just copy one string to another based on number of char. Alright. So here is another functions, append. So append three string into another, same like the copy ones. So you can just either append the whole string or just a few letters. Here, for instance, you would like to concatenate this string to ayam at the end of this nasi. So you will get this nasi ayam. So you just join this s1 with s2. You have empty string plus goreng. So you have goreng. And third one, you can also concatenate based on the first few character. Okay. For instance, tom, tom. You just join behind this string 1, and also the two char here, le, back to this nasi. So it's different. Copy is just copy. Okay, replace, and then this concatenate is joined at the end of one string. Alright, so we have this comparison function to compare the two C string. Okay, normally it is used to input validation such as the user login. Alright, so in order to use this function, you have to include this C string first, C string header file. Okay, then you have to use this syntax strcmp. We'd like to compare this s1 with this s2. Okay, for instance, you would like to have, okay, for instance, you have this string 1, AAA. You have this string 2, AAA also. So back to this ASCII table. Okay, so what is the value for A? The value for A is 97. Okay, it's 97. So you have this 97, 97, and 97. So S2 also. Alright. So in order to compare this one, the comparison process is actually start from this first char. Okay, you compare this first char, 97 minus 97, it will give you 0. 0 means similar. Then if similar, then it will move to the second letter. 97 minus 97 equals 0 also. So it's similar. If similar, then move to the last char. 97 minus 97 is equal to 0. So if all equal to 0 means similar. Now how about we have another example here. We are comparing this ABC with AAA. So A, first one, minus, it will get 0, similar. If similar, it move to the next letter, 98, 97. So it will minus. If 98 minus 97, you will have equal to 1. When the value is not equal to 0, then it means that it's not similar. Then it will stop compare. It will produce a value of 1. Okay, it means that if the value return value is equal to 0, then both strings are similar. Else, any non-zero values means that the both strings are not similar. So it will return non-zero. Okay, it will say that okay, these two strings are not equal. Alright, so I will show you in how it works in C++. Come back to here. Okay, we have this AAA compared with this AAA. Yes, if I run it, yes, it will produce a value of 0 because, as I mentioned just now, it's 0. If let's say I put ABC, okay, I compare, it will produce me 1. So this is how it works, because it will start when is compare this value of B with A, it will produce the value of 1. Then you will stop comparing. Alright, so if let's say what happened is I put C. Alright, ACC. I run it. It will give me a value of 2 because C is in ASCII table is 99. 99 compared to 97, you have 2. Then we'll stop comparing. Okay. So here are some other examples. So S1, S2, nasi lemak, okay, nasi, it will produce 0. So lemak, so big M and small m, you're having this difference as a ASCII value. Okay, big M is equivalent to 77, small m is equal to 109. So you will get 32. Alright, so and so on. Okay, so this one is compared up to a certain char. For instance, you would like to just compare the first 3 char, NAS and NAM. Okay, the first 2 char, AB and AB. Yes, true. So it's 0. So just compare the first 4 char, ABC 1 and ABC 3. Okay. So this STR CMP is commonly used in these input validations to check whether the username or the password is valid or not, just like this. Alright. For instance, you have this password ABC. So now I'm the user, I key in the password, for example AAA. Okay. So it's invalid password, it's compare, normally used for input validations. So here is the last C string functions to get the length of the size of this C string. So yeah, again, you have to include this C string header files and use the keyword here strlen, and you will get this size. Okay, strlen, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it will show you the value of 18, including the space. The space is considered as char also. Okay. So last but not least, here I show the summary of both C string and the string functions. Okay, both actually perform the same things, produce the same answer. Okay, produce the same output or serve the same purposes. But if you are using this string class for your string, then you have to use this keyword, a string keyword here, and the header file for the string class. Meanwhile, if you are using this C string, okay, then you have to use the correct header file and the keyword. Okay, so actually programming is quite fun, but you have to take time, take the initiative to sit in front of the PC and try it. Okay, so I hope my lesson is able to help you in developing a good program, and I will see you in the next lessons. Okay, bye.